Hey, welcome to this discussion on the SAFE principles. So right now we are on the SAFE 6. So the new version or the new changes might be coming up soon with the AI and everything coming into context. But yes, the principles more or less might remain same, or a little bit of tweaks, adjustments or changes might be coming up. So today's focus or the today's session, we will try to go through and understand the background of the SAFE principles from the implementation perspective, and see what is the actual essence of these principles and how we can get benefit of understanding and following and implementing these principles as such. Okay, so I'm not going to use any material as such. Directly I will be referring to the framework, so that even for you or any of you, it will be easy to go through, access it any point of time. So to access the scaleagileframework.com, there is a framework. Once we launch it, we will be by default landing on the big picture. So my recommendation, any point of time, if in case you are starting fresh, move into essential as a tab or the option. So essential, we call it as a configuration. So anytime we start with the SAFE implementation, any organization, whether it is a small startup or a well-established MNC or any organization, any industry, any sector, the recommendation is to start with essential SAFE. Essential SAFE talks about one single agile release train. When you say agile release train, we will discuss about these details. Like agile release train is a combination of 5 to 12 agile teams who are focused on delivering one single solution. Okay, so there is a that's the reason we call it as essential. So when you say essential, what does it mean? A minimum basic, it is like a MVP, minimum viable product, launching it to the customers from the implementation perspective. The same way, essential is like a minimum basic requirement, which might be required to get started with a SAFE implementation as such. So if you look at the large solution portfolio full configuration, we might get confused, we might get lost with the too many things in there. But any point of time, even if in case you want to start with your SAFE implementation, the first point is to start taking a look at the essential configuration and try to get an understanding of how much your teams or your organization is already aware, already implementing, versus how much new changes, how much new aspects or the pointers you have to bring in from your implementation perspective. Okay, so just to give a quick glimpse of it, if we start taking a look at it, the left side, so the way how we read the book or a page, like left to right, the same way, let's try to understand the same framework also from left to right. So at the bottom, we have the agile teams, which includes the product owner and the scrum master or a team coach. So recently the version 6.0 onwards, they changed the scrum master into a team coach, because yes, as a team level, you have to be a coach. And the agile team members. Then we have the safe scrum, Kanban, the quality, built-in quality, the team backlogs, and the story enablers, the iterations, everything, the DevSecOps, including cloud, is what is at the bottom, which we call typically at the team level. Right? So this we might be already following at your teams, irrespective of whether you are following the SAFE or not, right? So the team level, we will be already having the implementation, the product owner, the scrum master, and the team coming together following either scrum or Kanban or a combination. And with the focus of delivering a quality product, we'll define our team backlog, go to the iteration or the sprint. The both are synonyms. So iteration and the sprint are synonyms. So both, either of it. And we will focus on delivering a valuable product end of every iteration or increment, and make sure we bring in the DevOps along with the security aspects into the implementation. So at least the team level, we are clear.
Yes, Satish.
Okay. Now, the moment we are planning to bring in the SAFE implementation, again, irrespective whether the implementation is already there or not, if in case you want to start a new implementation, or if in case we have to consider what is it required to start with the safe implementation? We have to go a step above, and we need to start bringing in the additional roles. Again, remember, these are the roles, these are not the designations. So there might not be a designation as a release train engineer, there might not be a designation as a business owner. So someone within the organization could be or might be playing that role. Right. So the roles and the designations are different. So don't get confused. Just to clarify it, right? So what is it? It is required for bringing in the launching of the safe is like the business owners. They are the key stakeholders of the implementation. The business owner could be one who is getting the sponsorship or the funding or the initiative idea from the implementation perspective. There, if it is a product company, they might be within the organization. If it is a service company, they might be from the client side who is asking us or who is sponsoring us to implement this product or the implementation idea, whatever it is, right? So they are the business owners. So they might be outside our organization. Many cases they might not be within the organization, so they might be outside the organization. Or if in case it is a product company, they might be within the organization. And if it is a small startup or a small organization, it could be the CEO or founder of the organization itself is the business owner, right? Who wants us to implement this product or who is sponsoring our budget or the approvals. They are called as a business owner. Like example, Tesla, if you take Tesla as an example, right? So forget about whether they're implementing safe or not. If you take Tesla as an example, Elon Musk is the business owner because he's the one who wants to have that autonomous vehicle implemented or launched. So they will be coming up with an idea or the initiative, the thought, and they will say, hey, yes, I want this to implement, and I have this much of funding. So let's go ahead and start with the implementation. Right? Yeah, we are clear with the business owner.
Yeah, yes, Satish.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes,
then
Satish. Yes.
then comes the next role, product management. It is not the product manager, if you observe, the term is called as product management. Reason, it could be a group of product owners coming together, working together. Also, sometimes in some of the implementations, we call it as a product management. So sometimes we get a question like, when we have product owner, do we need to have a separate product manager or product management? My answer is might be, might not be. I have experience working in a brand new implementation versus a existing implementation. If it's an existing implementation, the product management might not be a dedicated role. All the product owners together might be coming up and they might play together as a product management committee or a group. Whereas a brand new implementation, most of the time or the effort of the product management might have to spend with the business owners and with architects to understand what is it required to the implementation, what is the end user perspective, what is the uh, current market trends, what is our competitors doing, and everything. That is where the product management plays a very, very, very key role. The product manager is a bridging point between the business owners and the teams and the implementation aspect. And along with them comes the other role, system architect. Each and every team might not have an architect. We might be having a lead or someone helping the team at the team level implementation. But at the product level or the solution level, we might be having maybe hardly one or two architects. Some organizations itself might have countable architects, right, at the organization level. So the system architect might not be at the team level, but they might be at a solution level. So when you say solution level, yes, the same architect might be working for a couple of solutions also. Right. So the architect's role is to help with the technical implementation aspects, the back end, the end-to-end architecture, the implementation aspects. They will be the one who design and who helps the teams from the implementation perspective of the technical aspects. Then comes the RT or the release train engineer, who what to say, who is like we used to call it as a chief scrum master. At the team level, we have a Scrum Master. Now at the release train level, we have a release train engineer. So release train engineer is the one who plays the same role what a Scrum Master do at the team level. Helps the release train from the end-to-end implementation perspective, facilitate release train level events, coach the release train, mentor the release train. When you say coach, mentor, that includes scrum masters, that includes product owners, that includes product management, architect, and that includes coaching and mentoring the business owners as well. So all the release train level stakeholders, the RTE has to guide, mentor, coach, and make sure to facilitate the release train level events end to end. Okay, so those are the roles coming into the context. Now, the moment the business owners want to have an idea or the thought that, yes, let's go ahead and implement the autonomous vehicle. Again, it's the same thing, Tesla, if we have to continue with that example, right? So then just because the business owner got an idea and want to implement it because they have the budget approval, can you go ahead and do it? Might not be. We need to start understanding what is our customers and users expectation, what is it they are looking for. Just because we develop a product, customers might not be liking it, customers might not be expecting it, might not be using it. So that's where the first step is to start with customer centricity. Understand what our customers need, what's the pain points they are going through, what's the challenges they are facing right now, what can help simplify their way of working, or it could be anything as such. Start with the customer centricity. For that, yes, we have different design thinking techniques or approaches using which we will start understanding the customer's perspective. What is the customer's expecting? What is it? What can help customer once we release as a product from our organization perspective? That is where the customer centricity and design thinking comes. Then comes the lean UX. This is where we simple user experience. When we say lean, it is like simple, effective, without any too much of doing thing. What is it required, expected from that perspective? We'll start doing it, and then we will go ahead and do that. Using which we will define our backlog, prioritize using WSAF, weighted shortage job first, and then we will define the backlog. That's where the journey of the release train starts. First is to go through the continuous exploration. Because we have defined in backlog, that doesn't mean we'll go ahead, jump right into the implementation. We have to explore, we have to understand how we can implement. What and why we got from the business owners, but how might be still with the teams. So the teams has to go through the exploration along with the help of system architect. They will go through it, do a POCs, experiment, explore, and then do the demos, MVP or whatever it is required. And then throughout the implementation, they will focus on continuous integration. Then go ahead and do the deployment continuously, not one-time deployment, big bang deployment, do the continuous deployment, keep the code ready in the production. We typically do the release on demand as required, on demand from the customers and users perspective. So throughout the journey, our focus is to deliver and develop and deliver a solution by taking the solution context into consideration. Right? So we read end to end, left to right, both at the team level, at the release train level. Are we good at the high level?
Satish, can you help understanding more on Lean UX a little more?
Lean UX, yes, sure. Let anytime we have any doubt, click on that. It will open and it will give us more details. Right. So what is a lean UX? First, understand the benefit hypothesis. Sorry, build minimum marketable features, then evaluate, then evaluate against the benefit hypothesis, come up with the design. Again, it's a continuous iterative cycle. Right. So that is what the thing is. Like, we'll start with the benefit hypothesis. What is it we want to implement? We want to implement autonomous vehicle. Okay, well and good. What is the benefit the customers will get? What is the benefit we as a business will get? what is it address, the pain points we are trying to address, how it is going to do. So that is what the benefit hypothesis. So the feature, even if it is a small feature, we will try to come up with the benefit hypothesis in a measurable benefit to the end users or business. So there is a first step. Then we'll come up with the collaborative design. So some of the applications or some of the products, if we see, the product might be a effective product, but the user experience might not be so catchy. So that's where the focus is like bring in a collaborative design again from the end user perspective, the color coding or the user the buttons or placement of the any of the thing, the content, everything, right? So that is what the collaborative design is all talking about, right? The user experience, if you observe, each and every organization is again focusing on improving their user experience, right? Then comes the building MMF, minimum marketable feature, evaluate by doing the observation, user surveys, usage analytics, A/B testing, and everything, and then iterate, continuously iterate the process. So that is what the lean UX is all about.
Thank you.
Right. And the reason why I'm referring the framework directly without any material is like each of the point on the framework is a clickable link. The moment you click on it, it will open in a new tab, which will help us get an idea of how you can go through the material on your own. You can start making your own notes and you can start uh, preparing your own referrals, and you can come back and you can ask in the group or you can ask me also. We can discuss on that part. Okay.
Yeah, Satish, a small dot actually. So I
Yes.
mean, like normally in organization we discuss the PMO team. So here
Yes.
the PMO team a part of any of the group here, or like it's entirely separate one.
PMO team, yes, they will be part of it. But again, based upon the role they take, sometimes they might be part of the system team,
Mhm. Okay.
helping multiple solutions are helping. Let me go to portfolio just for a moment. So if you see the essential and portfolio, the right side icons increased, right? So the system team could be common team, the system team could be like the DevOps team or the performance testing team, or maybe the tools team, or anyone who is required to help the support the implementation can be part of the system team. And also they could be part of the shared service also. Shared services also we'll discuss, but yes, they could be part of the system team, and they might be implement part of the communities of practice also,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Yeah. In the essential, not everyone might be finding their place, but yes, as we scale up, uh, the additional roles or additional aspects could be coming into context. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, so that's a quick overview of the SAFE before we get started. So we are already at 10:24. So my point is so next 15 minutes, open, each of you open the scaleagileFramework.com, click on the SAFE principles. We have 10 principles, right? So in this, again, the moment you click on this, take any principle, it will open that specific principle related content. So what we are going to do the next 15 minutes is we can split your 6 members. So we will split into 3 groups of 2 members each. Go through three principles, keeping the 6th principle aside. So for the first group, go through first 3 principles. Second group, 4, 5, and 7. Third group, go through 8, 9, and 10. How you get to know? You break out room number 1, 2, and 3. Go through the principles for the next 15 minutes. Both of you go through it and make your own notes, discuss. Once you are back, if you want, you can explain, or I will add, or I will explain from my side also. Okay? You're good? I
Yeah.
can
Okay.
share this link in the chat also so that you can open it. So Pranay, your issue was resolved? Not sure. Pranay is not here. Let's see if he can join. Are you good? The next 15 minutes? Options. Okay, I'm opening the rooms. You're good? So Hari and Vasu is in room 1, where they will go through. I will go through like I'm updating principles 1, 2, 3, and room number 2, principle 4, 5, and 7. Room number 3, principle 8, 9, 10. I updated the room names so that you will keep it handy. Okay. Yes. Hi Chaitanya.
Hi, Venkat. Sorry,
Yeah.
I joined late.
Sure. We just started a small breakout activity. I will assign you to one of the room. You can join them,
Uh,
and once you're back, we can discuss.
sure, Venkat.
Yeah. Okay, welcome back. So let's start with the group 1. Who would like to go ahead and share what is it you discussed about the first 3 principles? Of course, Vasu is mentioning only about the first 2 principles. Yes. Who would like to go ahead and share the 2 principles? Then we will add up on the 3rd principle.
Okay, Vasu sir, you can go like.
Yeah, I'll take it up. Not an issue. Satish, we discussed about taking an economic view. That's the first principle. So that talks about what's the economic aspect you have to take into consideration as and when you deliver an increment. The moment the increment delivery starts, you have to think in the economic view with a lean budget as well.
Mhm.
So that's what the whole principle talks about. That
Okay.
and one more thing they talk us deliver early and often. That's main agenda for the first principle is you have to deliver early and often. So I can take an example. My company initially they didn't do delivery often, so they failed. Then they learned the lesson. They started delivering early and often with with the economic view as well on mind. So that's the gist of the first principle. Can you come down?
Sure.
So in waterfall, we will be realizing the end result at the end. Whereas in agile, with the help of the increment or the safe framework, with faster delivery and often delivery, we are able to realize the result in the end of the 5th cycle itself. We are able to reach the minimal viable product. That's what the second diagram says about it. Yeah. And, then we talk about the economic perspective, economic view, what we have to take on each increment. So we have to deliver the value with the lean cost and with minimal budget and quality as well. So that is what the first principle talks about. Is there anything that I missed? You can add, Satish.
Sure. So thanks for that, Vasu. So adding to that, so the first 3 pictures or images, most of us might be already aware, might be already had gone through it as part of the agile. So then you might get it out. What is it the SAFE is explicitly talking about here? The focus of the Scrum team or Agile team is to deliver a valuable increment end of every iteration or every sprint. But are we delivering it to the customers? Are we at least getting the feedback from them? That is the main intention of this principle number 1. Deliver early, deliver often. Just getting the demo done from our dev environment or whatever the local environment might not suffice. So that too, when we are talking about the scaled agile, multiple teams coming together, working together on the same solution, when we have to focus on the deliver early and often to the customers, we need to start thinking about the continuous integration with the other teams' code also. Right? If you have to deliver a piece of code to the customers, end of every iteration, every sprint, from the safe implementation, we are not alone. We are not individual team. We have to think. We have to consider about the other teams within the agile release train plus any other dependent teams, which means the focus is not just on delivering our piece of code. We need to focus on the continuous integration as well, right? So there is another important aspect which we have to consider from this principle number 1. Then the incremental delivery and produce value earlier compared to the waterfall. Vasu sir already mentioned it, and this also goes the same way, right? Now let me touch base a little bit about this economic framework. Need not be just the safe. Any implementation, any project or any initiative, whenever we have to consider the economics or implementation aspect, we can go ahead and take a make use of this comprehensive economic framework. It is pretty simple. Let me explain a little bit of it. So there are 4 primary aspects. Excuse me. 4 primary aspects. The first thing is participatory budgeting and lean budgets and guardrails. We are not going to discuss in detail now. Nothing to worry. Same goes with the WSGF also, the suppliers. We are not going to discuss these 3, but I want to cover about this aspect. What is this? 5 parameters are there here: lead time, the product cost, value, development expense, and the risk. Right? So all these 5 parameters are directly or indirectly interrelated, which means if you have to focus on improving one or reducing one of it, the remaining 4 parameters will get impacted. Right? How? Let me take an example. Lead time. Out of these 5 parameters, we all know lead time, right? The time it takes from the daily, the time the team starts working on it till the time team completes it, we call it as a lead time. So let's suppose the lead time of our code or lead time of our current application is 10 days. For example, what if your customer, your client, or your management wants to improve that lead time from 10 days to 8 days or 7 days, for example? Right? Then what does it mean? The moment we start increasing lead time, let me do one thing. I'll take a small picture of it and so okay, looks like something happened. So the moment we start touching one of the parameter, the remaining parameters will start getting impacted, right? How? How to draw? I forgot. Let me do one thing. I forgot using PPT. My bad.
So Satish, we are able to see only the scale agile framework if you are.
Oh, okay. Got it. Share. Why it is not coming up now?
Yeah, now we can see.
Okay. I haven't did anything. I just pasted that picture in the slide for now. Okay. Now we want to reduce the lead time. right? So we are touching one of the parameter. The moment we start tweaking or plan to tweak the lead time, what does it mean? Why we want to
compromising on
reduce the lead
quality.
time? Obviously, it will impact on the quality, either on the
Yeah.
positive way, negative way, we will figure it out. But
Right.
why we want to reduce the lead time? So that it can give more value to the customer or early value to the customer, right?
Exactly.
I mean, that's what the what do you say, the logic the management brings any point of time. Hey,
Mm.
why I have to deliver it fast or quick or early? Hey, we can deliver more value to the customer. Okay, fair enough for to these two parameters. Then what about the product cost? Or what about the development expense? If you observe, these two are different parameters. Product cost includes the cost of the tools, the technology, or anything required. The development
Right.
expense is the associate cost. The individuals who are working on that to implement, to develop, there is a development expense. The product cost is that includes the tools, technology, or all the aspects, software, everything coming into context, right? So if we want to reduce the lead time, are we okay by making the product cost more by bringing in the automation tools or maybe the AI technology or anything as such? Are we okay to take a hit with the more budget? Or are you okay to hire more associates?
Both
Yes,
will.
obviously, right? So we can't
Mm.
expect improving the lead time just with the existing infrastructure, right? So
True.
these are the parameters we need to bring into the discussion any point of time. And how about the risk? What if we are delivering more, the customers are not happy with it? The risk might be more, or the quality might go down because of we might be doing in a hurry more delivery, more times delivery to the production compared to our competitors. Yeah, we indirectly we might be increasing our risk. Who knows,
Mm.
right? So the moment we are bringing up any discussion, forget about agile, safe, scrum, waterfall, everything. Any simple discussion, the moment we start bringing it up, if we start discussing about these 5 parameters, that will give more clarity to the leadership team. Right? You're good? So any project, irrespective of whether you're implementing safe or not, start bringing up these pointers. Hey, we have to deliver more value to the customers. Oh, okay, yes, let's go ahead and do it. But are you okay with improving the product cost? Or are you okay with taking a risk of more production issues or low quality
Yeah.
or low customer satisfaction?
Yes, Satish, just a second. Like, what all things comes considered? Can be considered under product cost?
The tools, the technologies, the
Mhm.
infrastructure part,
Okay. Okay.
right? The development expense is the actual expense required to do the coding or the implementation.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Understood.
Now, the same thing we can do a vice versa. Let me bring it again. Layoffs.
Mm.
I'm touching a sensitive point.
No, it's very important.
Layoffs.
Okay.
The moment the organization want to reduce the team by reducing their development expense, indirectly they might be focusing on reducing the product cost also, because the number of licenses, the number of tools also might go down along with that. But how about the risk? It might go up. How about the lead time? It might go up. How about the value? We
It
might
will
be
go down.
delivering less value.
Mm.
Simple, right? So, I mean, is it simple? The way we bring the discussion, that brings more clarity to the leadership team before taking any decision. When you say leadership, we are also part and parcel of the game, directly or indirectly, right?
Yes, Satish.
Same is the case if you're working as a scrum master or agile coach. Start having these conversations with the product owners or product managers, whenever they're bringing any scope change, hey, why do you want to bring a scope change in the middle of the release? Hey, we will deliver more value with that. Okay, then what about the other aspects? Yes, let's discuss quickly. 5-10 minutes, not how much time we spend, just 5-10 minutes. That's it. Right? No need to have a hourly discussions or brainstorming or anything else. Just bring up this, say that, hey, okay, yes, you want to touch this parameter. How about the other parameters? Are we ready? Are we okay to take this hit? Or are we okay to consider this additional budget or anything aspect? That's it. Simple. Right?
Yeah, yes, Satish.
Yes. So that is the thing. The principle number 1 is talking about apply a comprehensive economic framework. When you say deliver early, deliver often, yes, we might be delivering more value, but what about the other aspects? So remember, the continuous integration is one of the things which I was mentioning. So obviously, if you have to do continuous integration, continuous deployment, the product cost will be more. Are we okay to take that? If you're not ready to, yes, obviously, we might not be ready to deliver more value. So the safe itself is a not just safe. If in case the moment we want to improve lead time or deliver more value, it itself is an expensive affair. Right? Okay. Yes.
Yeah, yes.
So then the lean budgets and the guardrails come into context when you have multiple release lines, multiple solutions. Like companies like Google, right? They do a yearly budgeting. They will say that, okay, we have these many solutions. So these are the budget per solution. So the budget will be allocated to that respective solution, lead or head, whoever it is, the product side or the technology side. It is their responsibility to take care of the end-to-end implementation across the tier or across that solution, right? So then what is it, the participatory budgeting, lean budget is like any organization, any point of time have a limited budget, whether it is a startup or a big company like Amazon, Microsoft, Google, right? Any company, right? So they have to focus on what are the solutions we are delivering versus what is the solutions we have to stop, what is the solutions we have to start, or what is the solutions we have to continue BAU. So every year we will be seeing like when like mobiles, the Microsoft like so softwares or the tools, the moment they are bringing a new version, slowly, steadily they will be decommissioning the existing models. Why? They can't, any organization can't continue supporting Windows 98 or Windows 2000 sort of thing, right? So as they start focusing on new versions or new models, new solutions, we have to stop focusing on the existing things. And the moment we are bringing more solutions, we need to start focusing on how we tweak, adjust the budgets. Simple example. All of you committed to attend this session 2 days today, which means you are taking your time out of the weekend, which means you are readjusting your weekend schedule, right? So the 2 hours of the out of the 24 hours is gone for you. You blocked, which means yes, the remaining time only you can plan until unless you are doing any parallel tasking, right? That's it. The same thing goes to the budget also, right? Then yes, this is the trade-offs which we discussed with the example, right? So the economic trade-off, the moment we bring it up, it gives more clarity. And the suppliers, if you observe, many companies are relying heavily on suppliers these days, including Tesla, if you have to mention. The Google map, the maps, they are, instead of reinventing the wheel, they're trying to make use of the Google Maps for their autonomous vehicles. Yes. So additional aspect is the price tag. Are we okay to spend 1 year of time building in-house product, spending $1 million versus going for a ready-made solution, which might be costing us $2 million, but it will be saving us 1 year of time and effort.
Go for the second option.
Right? So yes, that is what the organization has to discuss. Again, it is an economic trade-off. You want to the product manager or business executive might say, I have only budget for $1 million. I can't get extra budget. Okay, then we will build in-house product, in-house solution. You have to wait for 1 year. Or if you're okay, get additional budget and let's go ahead with the existing solution. Right? So that is what the suppliers, leveraging suppliers as and when required is the additional thing. And then sequencing jobs for maximum benefit. Yes, that comes as a priority prioritization perspective. Yes, that is about the principle number 1. Are you good?
Yes.
So again, irrespective of whether it is falling safe or not, yes, this economic view is applicable for any of the implementation aspect. And that's the reason it is defined as a principle number 1. It is not the priority, but it is the most important for any of the organization, any of the implementation. Good?
Yeah, Satish, like in the principle 1, the WSJF has been shown, right? So like how it is, will be calculated, like the formula which has been shown there.
WSJF itself will take its own time and effort, Anil, the
No, I
moment
mean,
we
like just a
start
formula.
discussing.
Just can we explain just a formula, not
Sure. So what it will consider is like the cost of delay versus the job duration. When you say cost of delay, it considers 3 parameters. Let me bring up the WCF
no. If it
quickly.
takes time, we can take it in the last. No.
Yeah, I will just show the picture. See, from framework, click on this WCF.
Okay.
It will open the page where you can go through it.
Yeah, right.
Where
Okay,
is the
okay.
formula? Yeah, see, it considers 3 parameters: user business value, what's the relative value we are bringing to the customer or to the business, and what's the time criticality, and are we reducing the existing risk, or are we increasing the new opportunity? These are the 3 parameters considered cost of delay divided by job duration. And many times we know the estimates for the job duration is a bluff. So we recommend, even the safe recommend, ignore the job size and you can just simply go ahead with the cost of delay itself.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Yes. Are you good with the principle number 1?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Then moving on to principle number 2, systems thinking. Over to you, Vasu sir.
Okay. What it talks about is this principle talks about is whether you're building a small system or an increment or a huge enterprise level system. All systems think, and you have to deliver it at regular intervals and with this that can you come down?
Sure.
Hold on a second. You project it. I will see my screen because
Sure.
I can make it big and then see.
Yes, sure.
Hold on a second. See whether
If you
no.
yeah,
Let
go
me
ahead.
whatever we are developing, whether it's a small increment or a part of a system or a huge system, huge solution, everything is a system for it. Whether I'm developing a component for a Tesla or the whole Tesla or the whole factory that builds Tesla, for me, everything is a system. And I have to make the systems think. So that is the main overview that the systems thinking concept is about. So whether I'm delivering a solution as an increment, that itself is a system, and it has to be integrated and it has to be uh, delivered as a whole system, and the system is thinking about it. That's what I understood, and optimize the full development value streams. So that's one of the major aspects that they're saying about it, and whether it's a small feature request, so we do a define, we do a build, we do a validation, and then we do a release, new increment with the value. it for product lifelines. So that's what they have
Yes.
in the figure 2. When you go to the figure 3, they talk about request email. So here they talk about the lead time. So how much time, bi-weekly review. So that's what the figure 3 talks about, how much time it takes, wait time and the available time it talks about it. So then only as per Deming, only management can change the system. The change can come from the management, not from the system itself. That's what they are talking about.
Yes,
That's
that's
it.
correct, sir. Yes. So
Okay.
apply systems think. Thanks for that. So apply systems thinking, as Vasu was mentioning, the each and everything is a system which we are talking about or which we are dealing with. So that's where the focus is like focus on end-to-end perspective, the thought process. If we are doing this, what else it might impact or what it might come back. That is what the system thinking end-to-end perspective is what the principle is talking about. And understand first and optimize the full development value stream. When you say that value stream, from the time the feature requests come, define, build, validate, release, and deliver a new increment of value. So the end-to-end is what we call it as a value stream. And the focus on improving the lead time. And again, as we discussed in the principle number 1, the moment we start improving the lead time, something else might go for a toss. So we need to start focus, understanding that first and optimize the full development value stream and how we want to take it further, what it is by doing that. If you are using Jira or any other tool, right? So the control chart helps us give the, at least at the coding and testing, the lead time and the cycle time, using which we can able to understand where the actual delays are happening or what the improvement aspects we can start bringing it up and how we can improve the lead time or cycle time as such, or how we can optimize the overall value stream. So sometimes what happens or what happened in our case is like the approval from the architect used to take almost to 1 to 2 weeks of time. By the time we might be in the next sprint or next iteration. So then when do we integrate? When do we get that code ready for the deployment? Right. So we started discussing, analyzing and discussing. So that's when we were able to improvise the way things happen. So that is what I understanding and optimizing the value stream. So if we, each of us, if we can start doing it our team level to start with, if not at the organizational level, right? So that can help us improve, start showcasing the improving the lead time or improving the efficiency and effectiveness of our teams. And only management can change the system any point of time. Yes. Right. So that is like we can we are part of the system, but we should help our leaders understand what the challenges are there, what the support we need, how the teams can improve their way of working and everything. Yes, only then they can bring in the change. Right? We are good with the principle number 2.
Yes, Satish.
Okay. Then moving on to principle number 3, assume variability, preserve options. So you folks mentioned you haven't got a chance to discuss about it. So let me go through it. So what is this point is talking about? We might be already aware of it. So just a little bit of additional understanding. So the development is an uncertainty. We want to develop something, but we don't know how we want to implement. Right. So here the showcasing, like if in case we are going with one single solution, what might happen, and maybe in the late in the system we might realize it is not working by the time we integrate the code and do getting ready for the deployment. So it might be too tricky or too tough to change, tweak, adjust at that point of time. So instead what they are telling is like the preserve options with set-based design. What is a set-based design? During that POC stage or during the evaluation stage, start listing down all the possible options. Do a POC. The learning point is like where we are evaluating what we want to go ahead with it. Do the POC. Out of like 10 options we have, maybe we are able to pick and choose the top 3. Then within those 3, which of the option we want to go ahead? We can't go ahead with all the 3 options, right? Maybe we can do a small POC and experiment how it goes with the different combinations, permutations, and then we might go with one of the option. Then even if we get stuck at some point of time, we have the handy options, the other options which you already evaluated and which you already kept it ready. So at some point of time, if required, we can go back and pick up the next option or the next solution, and we can go ahead with the implementation. Right? At the same time, at some point of time, we can't go back. Right? So we all know like the journey, once we start, if you are more than halfway through, it might be a bit costly or a bit tricky to change the option. So we have to identify, figure out which could be the best optimum solution, and we can go ahead with that. Right?
Exactly.
You're good with the third principle?
Here, the uncertainty is more when you have less options, and the uncertainty is less when you have more options, correct?
Might not be as such. See, it's uncertainty will be more any point of time. It is up to us how many options we start thinking about and how many options we start listing down.
Yeah. There is a degree of uncertainty we take into consideration.
Yes.
That goes up and down based on the options that you are having.
Yes. And if you look at the picture, right? So here we identified 3 options or 3 solutions, and from which we did a POC and we started going ahead with the next 2. So the uncertainty curve got reduced because like we got some clarity. Not if not 100%, at least we got some clarity. We started working on that, and then we are getting, as we experiment, we get more clarity. So that uncertainty cone will be reduced slowly, steadily.
It's very helpful when we are doing a spike or an enabler work in the
Exactly.
print. This
Mm.
this principle applies. This principle we need to apply.
Yes.
Where to apply is that's the portion. As a scrum master or a team coach, you can advise to the team. So
Mm.
have multiple options so that your uncertainty curve will be less and you will have a better solution.
Satish, I have a question here.
Mm-hmm.
Spike is okay. How does an enabler will reduce the cone? Can you explain?
Enabler
Here,
is
if you
a
say enabler, which enabler? What is enabler then?
enabler is like a supporting mechanism. The link which I gave for the registration for all of you in the group is an enabler, which is enabling you as an individual to register and join the session. Joining the session, learning, going through the principles and understanding is the actual user story, which is delivering value to you. Right? So enabler is like the name itself has enabler. It is enabling to get the actual value delivered. Setting up the infrastructure or setting up the Zoom link, getting the framework ready. All this is a part of enabler. The actual discussion which you are having now is the actual user story, actual implementation.
Can we
Right?
consider Spike also enabler?
Yeah, Spike could be enabler.
Okay.
See, Spike, the moment we mention Spike, we might be doing an experimentation.
Mhm.
You want to see whether Zoom works or Teams work or WebEx work or something else work or Google Meet works. There is a spike.
Okay.
From that, I realized that, yes, I want to go ahead and use Zoom. Then I set up the Zoom link on the top mate and I gave the link to you, using which the next steps continued. So initially, when I thought of having the session, I might be having more options like Google Meet, Zoom, WebEx, Teams, whatnot, multiple options from which I did an experimentation, the spike, and I zeroed down a couple of options. Then I realized that I want to go ahead with Zoom. Then we are making use of it. Now we got the difference between spike and enabler.
Yeah.
Yes.
Spike is for experimentation. We want to implement, but we don't know how to implement. So then we will do spike. Enabler is like, we know this is what we have to implement. So that's the reason we say that, okay, so any new team member joining your team, you might be doing some setup. That is an enabler. Once the team member join, you won't start discussing, okay, whether we want to implement, issue him a Dell laptop or a HP laptop, or whether we want to onboard him on Zira or Rally, or whether we want to give him Java or .NET. No, that might be already done as part of a spike, even before he joins the team, or even before we start the project. Right? Good?
Good.
Yes. So that brings us to the first three principles. Okay, yes. The fourth principle, I would like to go ahead.
Yeah, I think Satish, it came to me and Venkatesh.
Yes.
So actually, we both are new to the safe. So actually, but we learned
Sure.
from the chat GPT.
Oh,
So
sure.
like with my understanding, so it's actually a part of Scrum. So it is telling us to like not to focus on the bigger picture or like entire project at once. It's better to break down into small pieces and keep having retrospective so that we can learn what we have done mistakes and so that we can plan better. So which will help us to like we keep correcting with the customer on regular basis, which will help us to reduce the risks. Yeah, I mean like which improves the I mean like quality as well as the customer satisfaction. I mean like because the language which has been reflected might be very huge. So
Yes,
like
yes,
with the
yes.
help of the chat GPT. So that's what.
Definitely, definitely. That's another effective way to make use of the time. I mean, thanks for that. So, what is this principle for talking about is, we might be already aware, or we might be already following it in the Scrum or in our team level. Build incrementally with fast integrated learning cycles. So we might not be doing this integrated learning. So there is a one new thing which might be bringing it up, right? So build incrementally with fast cycle. Yes. The iterative learning cycle is like plan, do, check, adjust. And this sprint plan to,
Yes, yeah.
do the implementation, check the demo, adjust the retrospect, and keep on doing it. It's not just at the sprint level. The daily also we are doing it directly and indirectly the same, right? The daily stand-up, like what is it we are planning to do for the next 24 hours? Complete it, then check whether we have achieved it or not, and then adjust if any blockers or any challenges. If we have to review the plans, we'll go ahead and do it. So we are starting even at the daily level, then sprint level, and again, when we say the release train level, the solution level also, it could be happening. And the common integration points help the continuous integration and the learning cycle. So throughout the sprint, also we can do the continuous integration, but at least for a new implementations, the sprint, end of every sprint, the entire code base should be integrated and the system demo should be done. That is what the principle number 5 also talks about it. But yes, as we are on principle 4, what it is like the integration point helps us do this PDCA cycle, plan, do, check, adjust cycle at iteration or a team level or at the release train level or at the solution level. Then focus on how we are improvising, how we are implementing or improving going ahead for the next cycle. That is what this PDCA cycle talks about. And the integration points reduce risk. So the why continuous integration, the SAFe is focusing on continuous integration. As we keep on integrating, we will get to know, yes, at least till this point of time, what are the code was developed, tested, integrated, validated, that is working fine. The iteration to sprint 2, the next set of stories got integrated. Yes, it is working fine till now. Sprint 3, sprint 4, sprint 5, every sprint, as we focus on continuous integration, the code base gets integrated, validated, and we will be sure that at least until this piece of code, it is working fine. So in case of any issues or challenges, we can easily identify, okay, till sprint 4, let's assume 20 stories per sprint, till sprint 4, 80 stories got integrated and validated. So sprint 5, the next set of stories got integrated and the application is giving an issue.
Yeah, sir, this is where I'm getting a doubt. So when we say fast integrated cycle means, fast means what? See, my sprint is 2 weeks, right? Every 2 weeks. So when you say fast means, I reduce it to 1 week sprint, which is not practically it is not good. So
No,
what do you mean
it's
by
not like
fast here?
fast integration is like, don't wait till end of the release or don't wait till end of the PI to integrate. Make sure to integrate in every sprint at least once.
So that's why we are doing system testing, right? At the end of each and every sprint with all the other teams. So that is also happening.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, if it is happening, yes, well and good.
Satish,
Mhm.
question here.
Sure.
Can I ask?
Yes, please.
See, what happening in one of our projects are, see, they are doing intensive testing. So that is taking the sprint time.
Mm.
And we couldn't go through the full sprint cycle. We have to spill over for another sprint for the remaining testing to complete. And then bugs comes in, bug fixing. So all these things takes at least 2 to 3 sprints in our PI. Whatever we are
Okay.
intended to deliver in the features, whatever the features were delivered to intended in the PI, we miss it.
Okay. Okay. So,
So that is where we are stuck.
so how is the testing is happening right now?
No, they're
When you
doing
say extensive, intensive testing.
intensive testing. They have to check in all 3, 4 browsers and then they have to come up with the bugs. And
Yes.
they are
How is it validation happening? Is it manually
manual.
or using any
It's
tools?
not automated. They have to come up with automated scripts. We have given them the tools. They are not following it.
See, the 5 parameters which we discussed, because they are not ready to take it up. Yes, the
This
quality
what
is going down and the risk is increasing.
By the time we commit for 4 or 5 features in the PI, we are not even able to deliver 2. The train at the agile release train is, instead of going as a Vande Bharat Express, it's going like a passenger.
Yeah. So maybe you have to discuss with the team what is the challenge they are going through before stopping them or impacting them to go ahead with the tools.
Yes.
Yeah, that might because there might be a lot of other parameters which might be bothering them, which could be the root cause. We need to understand that, and accordingly we can go ahead with that.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, good, proceed. Sorry.
Okay, sure. Yes. Yeah. So that's about the principle 4. Okay. Now let's move on to principle 5. Again, this we might be already doing it or already aware of it when we say the objective evaluation of working systems. Yes, Anil and Venkatesh, you want to go ahead with it?
So it is little confusing for me.
Okay. So the principle 5 is trying to showcase the challenge with the phase gate milestones, which you already might be aware. So I will skip that part. So what the base milestones on objective evidence, what the evidence they're talking about is like, this goes hand in hand with the previous principle number 4, build incremental with fast integrated learning cycle. So end of every iteration, end of every sprint, if you are focusing on that integration and doing the demo, we are indirectly bringing the evidence or showcasing that, yes, this is what we completed, or this is what we developed till now, and this is what the application is looking like. This is how the product is coming out. So the milestone evaluation is happening based upon the objective evidence, right? At the sprint level or at the release train level as well. So that is what this principle is talking about. When you are base milestones, here we are talking about the PI. So define the progress using the objectives, PI objectives, showcase the demo, get the feedback, and measure, evaluate how the product or the solution is performing, and then identify the improvement items and add it back to the backlog and continue to the next PI.
So
Because we
Satish,
are already doing at the team level, the sprint level, the focus is on the PI level also. Yes, Anil.
Satish, what is the difference between a milestone and a release? Are both the same or
Milestone might be, might not be. Our release, our teams, they are releasing every month. If you are considering that as a milestone, yes, milestone and the release is same. But our organization, do they go ahead and do a what do you say, the results announcement every month? No, they will be doing a quarterly results to the public. Right there, we will showcase that yes, we, as an organization, we delivered these many features. We won't talk about the releases to the customer and that to the actual public. We will say that, hey, these are the new features we released. These are the number of more customers we onboarded. This is the retained customers. This is the revenue generated sort of thing. So in that case, yes, the milestone is quarter, but the release can be defined as per the organization context.
Satish,
Yes, sir.
sir, we do releases every end of the second sprint in a 6-week sprint. Sorry, in the quarter for the 6 sprints, every second alternate sprint we are releasing, and at the end of the quarter we do a major release, a minor release, and a major. So the
Yes.
major release can be considered as a milestone, correct?
Yes, yes, we can.
Because they are saying it as a milestone release, milestone release. So that's the milestone release that they are talking about. Yeah.
Yes. See, sometimes like even some of us also might get confused with the terminology. That is fine. It could be your organization specific terminology also. We'll say that we use in my previous engagement, we used to call as major release, minor release. Every month, alternate week, alternate sprint, we do a minor release with small enhancements, so small fixes, patches sort of thing. Every once in a quarter, we do a major release.
See, when we launched the product, before that, we launched it like the release 1.0. It took us eight months, rather 2 PIs to release it.
Yes.
That's our major, whatever you call it as a MVP, we can call it.
Yes.
After that, what we did is we came up with a release plan and we called it as 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and then 2.
Yes. Yes.
Like that, we drafted a release plan and we are doing it.
Yes.
So, since many of them come from the traditional background, they are putting it as milestone 1, milestone 2, milestone 3, like that.
Yes, we can do that.
Okay.
Yes.
I also got confused with the milestone release and this.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Are you good with the principle 5?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, now we are done with half of the principles. How simple or easy it is to understand by having a discussion like this.
By discussion, we can understand, but with the language which is written in safe,
exactly.
might be difficult.
Yes, exactly. Yes, that's the reason. Like having a conversation like this helps, and it's not like one-way communication, right? So I'm taking help of you also to get involved in the discussion. which helps you also to understand it more easy.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So principle number 6 will come later. So let's complete the remaining 4 and then we'll come to the principle number 6. So principle number 7, apply cadence synchronized with cross-domain planning. So here we are talking about two terminologies, cadence and synchronization. So what is a cadence? We might be already following the cadence. The sprint, our sprint is a cadence. What is a cadence? It's like a time box. As per the definition, they say converts unpredictable events into predictable and lowers the cost, makes wait time for new work predictable. Whenever any new backlog item comes, we'll say, hey, we will take it in the next sprint. So when you say the next sprint, the cadence, they know that, okay, they're in the middle of the sprint, which means the next Wednesday they will pick it up. So supports regular planning and cross-functional coordination, limit batch size to a single interval, control injection of new work, provide scheduled integration points. Yes, the cadence we are already aware as part of sprint or scrum, what of the approach we are following. The synchronization is where because we are talking about multiple teams coming together, working together, that is where the synchronization comes into context. So what the synchronization is talking about is like call multiple events to happen at the same time. All the teams of the release train have their same sprint cycle, same sprint cadence, so that it will be easy for discussing the dependencies. It will be easy for the integration. It will be easy for the getting the feedback. It will be easy for coordination. It will be easy for many other aspects as well. Right? The term itself calls as agile release train. What is a train? Consists of multiple coaches compartments. So all the coaches, all the compartments of the train should travel from the source station to the destination station in the same pace, same speed, same direction. So this is what the synchronization is talking about. We can't say because I'm traveling in first AC, I want to travel 200 kilometers per hour. Because I'm traveling in the sleeper, I will go slow 100 kilometers per hour. No, it won't work in that way. Right? So that is what the cadence and synchronization is talking about. Apply cadence and synchronization with the cross-domain planning. So indirectly, in this principle, they are talking about the PI planning. Right? So here they have given the different principles of flow, how the safe practices was brought into context. Use a regular cadence to limit the accumulation, planning at regular PI intervals. Provide sufficient capacity. They're talking about the capacity allocation. Use cadence to make waiting times. Again, they're talking about the PI and the WIP limits. Use a regular cadence to enable small batches. That's what we are talking about, the short iterations, 2-week iterations sort of thing. Right? The schedule frequent events using a predictable cadence. Yes, the PI planning, system memo, inspecting adapt, ART sync, each and everything they are trying to bring up as part of these safe principles into the implementation. You are good?
Yeah, yes, sir.
This
Yes. Then the same for the synchronization also, like economies of scale by synchronizing work from multiple projects. Yes. When we scale to the portfolio with multiple release streams or multiple value streams coming together, like Ambani's, they will launch multiple products on the same day. Yes, so they want to take the benefit of the business like anything. Same is the case even Apple is doing, right? So every year, the same day, Apple releases new iPhones, new iPads, new iPods, all at the same time by bringing up multiple solutions. So for Apple as an organization, there are different solutions because different teams will work on those or different. From the safe terminology, it is a different value stream as such, different solution. But they're bringing everything together and making sure like everything is released to the market at a time. Right? So that is what like different aspects these small dots coming together and helping the business, the organization realize the benefit. Yes, that is what this principle is talking about. Right? And use synchronized events to facilitate trade-offs. Yes, what if like one of the team is getting impacted with new code? See, for the customer feedback and resource and budget adjustments, or any, even as a mission alignment, or any refinement, the program oversight and governance. Yes, one of you asked about the PMO, right? So the program oversight and governance is taken care by PMO team at the organization. Yes, so each and everything will be taken care by bringing up the teams who are part of the release train, or the multiple release trains part of the same solution follow the same cadence and synchronization. Right? We are good? Yes. So this is the example I gave. Like each team, if they're following their own cycle, iterate is like their own sprint cycle. Like team 1 is following 2 week sprint, the team 2 is following 3 week sprint on a different start date. Team 3 is following 3 week sprint, but starting on the same day. The integration point itself will be really tough if all the 3 teams have to integrate, coordinate. Instead, if all the teams has to go together, working on same solution, it is ideally recommended to bring all the teams together, and it will help for the continuous integration also. And the previous principle, fast integrated learning cycles, everything, again, these are all interrelated, right? So yes, that is how it helps the PDCA cycle, the integration, the continuous feedback, and the economic framework. All of these aspects come together.
Everything will be in a synchronized way, correct?
Exactly. Yes.
Because it took us 1 year and 6 months to bring this cycle into
Definitely.
the system, into the organization.
Definitely. Yes. It will take its own time. We can't expect magics or wonders to happen
Two,
overnight.
3 teams left saying that we are going back to waterfall. Then we have to bring them back. We don't want PA flooding. We don't want any train. They started revolting. Then we brought them back and then persuaded them, brought them back, and then we defined an agile clock where all the teams across all the trains should follow. They should start on a Wednesday. They should be, because otherwise our metrics becomes like skewed. The data is
It's not just It's not just about the metric, right? So it's about the value we are delivering end of the day.
value
So
delivery is also hit. You are
yes.
not able to deliver to our, because each accounts are able to deliver on a particular day. For example, in a month, all the releases go on a particular week. So that release can be synchronized and CI/CD can be synchronized. Everything can be synchronized in a single date and single week or a month or a date, so that it is easy for us to do it. And throughout the organization, it's getting reflected. It's not only reflecting
Yes.
the IT department, even the
Exactly.
networking team and the release management team, they are also synchronized with us. They are not every department is in silo. All departments come to a sync.
Yes. So that is where, when we go to the portfolio, right? So the shared services, system team, everyone should be in sync. Everyone should be. Right? Yes. So that is what this principle 7 is talking about. Okay, you're good.
Yeah, good.
Okay. Then comes the principle 8. Intrinsic motivation of knowledge workers. Unlocking the intrinsic motivation of knowledge workers. So here the principle is talking about the intrinsic motivation by allowing the individuals, providing autonomy, mastery, and purpose. 3 different things, but it is really required to get it done. Right? So let's go back to the principle first. What is the knowledge worker it is talking about? The workers who are doing the deliverables, they know better majority of the times than anyone else. Right? See here, the Peter Drucker mentioned it. Knowledge workers know more about their job than anybody else in the organization. Is the definition of knowledge workers. Sometimes we as a scrum masters or coaches or RTs, we are not technical experts. We are not domain experts. Right? We are there to help them with the implementation. So it's not just for us. Like some cases, it is the same with the managers or the leaders also. If in case they are not the technical experts, right? They are there for the reason, but they may the team members, the individuals who are working on implementation might know better, more than anyone else. So that's the reason how we can unlock the intrinsic motivation of knowledge workers. And when we say intrinsic motivation, it should come internal to them. It is not like a extrinsic motivation, right? So what is the intrinsic motivation?
Just to add to whatever, sorry, Satish, to cut you off.
Yeah, sure.
Just to add to whatever you were saying, I mean, if we can create an environment where we can give them, the knowledge workers, the freedom, and then which nurtures their creativity, and
Exactly.
they should have that sense of ownership of the task that they are working. Unlike the predictive ways of working, where there are hierarchies of control, and then leadership is all centralized, they should be given an opportunity where they are the decision makers and they should have that freedom. If we can foster a culture where we can showcase the why of it, the how of it they'll come to know how of it. We'll leave it to the knowledge workers. We are not the expert decision makers. I mean, they know the technical part of it. So if we can just make them understand the why of it, then how of it, they should be able to derive it with their own expertise and creativity. Am I making sense, or hello?
Yeah, you're audible, Anil. I think Satish.
Satish, are you there?
Yeah, there might be some issue from his. Yeah, hi Satish, we can't hear you if you're speaking. I think he might
It's
have
having
dropped.
power fluctuations. He sent out a message.
Yeah, I think he might have dropped.
He will join back.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, Vasu, you're audible. I think there's some issue from the Venkat. He'll join back.
Okay.
I think he dropped a message in the WhatsApp.
Mhm. No problem.
I think we are currently discussing about the eighth principle.
Eighth principle. Okay.
I'm back. There's a power fluctuation. Yes. Yeah, Anil, go ahead. You're
Yes.
saying
So,
about the
yeah. So we need to mend our ways. Unlike from the predictive cycle of working, where there are hierarchical structures, and then the decision making is all centralized. We should give more power to the knowledge workers, where they should have that freedom to make their own decisions because they have the technical expertise. And I mean, we should create an environment where this will be extended to the possible the max possible extent where they have the freedom to take ownership, and then we as a scrum master or coaches, we can if we can explain the why of it, then how of it they'll come to know, they'll make it on their own because they are the experts.
Exactly. Yes, that's the principle is all talking about. Yes, that's correct.
So we should be moving away from this manual labor kind of a thing where intrinsic motivation we should be fostered more rather than extrinsic motivation is what this principle is talking about, where extrinsic motivation can be in terms of rewards or salary or bonuses or whatnot, but intrinsic is more if we have that freedom and then they really feel like working rather than it's like being agile versus doing agile kind of a thing, where just for the sake of it they're doing it, but then they're not just for the sake of salary or other extrinsic factors they are doing the job, but then they're not really inclined towards it like we have been doing in the predictive ways of work is what I understand from this one.
That's true. Yes, so like there was a recent article where especially it is talking about like the millennials are not focused on the salaries or the income. They are focusing on like the work they are doing, the recognition they are getting, uh, the way they are doing the things, and the support they are getting from the leadership sort of thing. Yes, so that is what we have to focus on, and we as a leaders we need to start bringing it up in the possible way, right? Yes. So by providing this autonomy, mastery, and purpose, three critical factors for this intrinsic motivation. What is autonomy? Yes, it is all talking about like leading with the objectives but not the task, or decentralized decision making, principle number 9, which we'll talk about, and allocate time for self-directed exploratory work and organize errand value. By doing all this, we are giving the people to make their own choices to be self-directed, right? So we are talking about like autonomy and letting them take their own decisions, their own work by doing the exploration, experimentation, and getting all the things done. Then mastery is like uh, engaging challenging activities and learning from errors, and built-in quality, optimizing the time in the zone, special assignments, providing learning opportunities. So we I can talk about my experience. Like when I'm from a QA background, when I want to move into this agile space, I haven't got the required support. Instead, I got the point as, hey, you have to be a test lead or you have to be a tester. Continue focusing only on that learning or that type of work. That's not what, as a individual, as an employee, as a knowledge worker, I expected or I might be expecting from my leaders. Right? So that is what we need to understand, what the individuals are talking or expecting, how we can provide them the required support and guidance. And that is what each and everyone has an equal role in helping them the masters in their way of working. Right? And then purpose. What we are doing, like Simon Sinek says, start with why. We have to set the context of why we are implementing this project, or why these user stories was priority for this sprint. I will tell my product owners every time, hey, just don't tell your team that these are the 10 priority stories. No. Help them understand why these are prioritized compared to the other user stories, or what is the value these functionality can bring to the customers or end users by implementing these end of the sprint or end of the PA. Then the team will get more clarity, and they will start taking up the ownership or accountability, and they will start building valuable outcomes of the products. Right? You're good?
Yeah.
Yes, that is about the principle number 8. And again, the extrinsic motivation is the compensation, which we know how the thing is, and the other extrinsic incentives, which the like the role change, recognitions, and all those things, which will come. It will be there, promotions, everything. It will be there, but the main focus is like promotion we might get once in 2 years or 3 years or 4 years. The hike we'll get once a year, or sometimes even not that. But that motivation might be there for 1 or 2 days. Then what about the other days?
That's temporary.
We can't just go with that the extrinsic motivation any point of time. And we as a leaders, we need to identify, analyze, and understand how we can have one-on-ones understanding with our team members, whatever the role we are playing, and see how we can enable them or engage them and understand what is their intrinsic motivation is. So each of them could be having their own expectations. We need to understand that.
How to identify that, Satish? I'm finding it difficult, or that the intrinsic quality of from the motivational workers. How to bring it out? Because seldom they talk.
Yeah. So that's where having the one-on-one conversation and the two, most probably, preferably in person, might help Vasu. And
Okay.
see, let me give you my perspective or my way. I will simply say, hey, let's go for a coffee break. I won't schedule a one-on-one as such. You got my point? See, the moment we say schedule one-on-one, we will be with the fixed mindset. Okay, what my manager will be talking or what my leader will be telling me. Is there any wrong in my deliverables? So what can I expect? Instead, I will just have a casual conversation. Hey, let's go for a coffee break or let's go for a quick walk.
Okay.
Then start with a casual conversation. Hey, how is it going? What is it you're working on right these days? How is it? How are you finding the support from the team? Do you need any help? Are you looking for any other aspects as such?
Okay.
Right? You got the point?
I got it. Okay.
But
Yes.
Satish, just a question. Like,
yes.
I mean, like like if the organization standards or hierarchy level is totally different. Like
Even then, that is fine.
Already the individuals know that what going to happen if they come up with any issue. Like how to handle this situation. That's a little like I'm currently facing those issues where the hierarchy is totally uncontrollable. The top leaders are handling uncontrollable situation. They need only the output. And at that time, how we can motivate the people is
Yes. So then it is our responsibility to go and have a conversation with them, with those leaders. We can't change them, but at least we can try to bring up how the actual leaders see how the actual team members are expecting. We can't don't bring the names whenever we are having a conversation like this. You can't go and say, hey, Satish is expecting a role change, or Anil is looking for a promotion or hike. He deserves a 10% hike. We gave only 5%. No, never bring the names or context or anything as such, right? We need to try to understand that leader's perspective. They see what's happening in my case, right? So I have a team of 6 members right now. None of them are reporting to me, but they work very closely with me. Because they are not reporting to me, that doesn't mean I will let them go and I will let them their reporting managers take everything, right? So I need to provide the required support, guidance, whatever it is from my side. So I will say, hey, whenever you want to have a conversation, come and talk to me. Right? Like open door policy. Yes. Sometimes they might even vent out their frustration and everything. But yes, at least it will help them calm down. And then we need to bring in the leader's perspective. Hey, I know you're expecting this, but this is where the overall organization context is going on. And this is what the current situation is. And this could be, or this might be the reason why you haven't got the recognition or you haven't got the role change. So we are not giving the role change, but we are indirectly driving them or guiding them. What might have happened to come out of that disappointment zone versus what might be required for them to focus on getting it done. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If start discussing, that itself will take hours together.
Yeah.
But yes, at least the context we are good.
Yeah, context wise, it is good, Pradesh.
Good.
Okay. Yes. Okay. And that's the reason, like this principle 8 and 9 and 10 are more related to the leadership team or the management team. Of course, the economic view also, right? So these are more related to the leadership team because they are the ones who can, as it is mentioned in the system thinking, right? The management can change the system. Yes. So if in case you are observing anything, try to go and have a conversation with the leader who can be the influence in that aspect. Right? Just sitting among ourselves and creeping might not help the team or us also. Okay?
Yeah.
Yes. Moving on to principle number 9. Hey, we are at 11:56. Is it okay if we extend a little bit more? Maybe 12:15, 12:20, and we'll try to.
Yes, Satish. Yes.
Fine.
No problem.
Sure. Yes. So, Anil, you want to go ahead with principle number 9 also?
Yeah,
Or who would like to go?
yeah, anyone else wants to go also, I'm okay. But then I just want to give some gist of it, if it is okay.
Sure.
So, principle number 9 talks about decentralized decision making. So, decision making should be decentralized because we need to avoid single point of failure. First of all, maintaining dependency on the hierarchical structure, and then where only one person is taking a decision will increase delays in the overall product, and then it impacts the product flow also. So, just to enable faster feedback and then creating more innovative solutions, we need to make decision. We need to make sure decision making happens locally. So so that the delay can be handled better. Unless until these decisions are strategic or global, which will have the impact with respect to economy or monetary impact, decision making should be made decentralized is what Principle 9 talks about.
Mhm.
Can I give an example?
Yes, please.
See, for example, Scrum Master is the one who starts and stops the sprint and gives the whole decision to the team to decide on accepting the stories, providing story point. Most of the things are decided by the team. So that's one way of conveying that the decentralized decision making is there in each and every Scrum team itself. The Scrum Masters gives that takes the or imposes the decentralized decision making. Correct, Satish? Or
Yes.
you have
Yes,
better?
that is one of the example. And another example which I generally bring up is like the estimates. The earlier, like when I started my career as a QA, like my manager used to come and say, "Hey, Satish, you have to complete this task." Not the task. That time we used to call it as a project. Complete this project testing in 2 months. How much time, how much complex, they don't care. As a manager, they give the estimates, so they expect me to complete within them. Whether I can do it or not, it is not important for them, right? Now, the estimates, at least at the story level, is done by the team who is doing the actual work, right? Of course, we know that the feature level or initiative level estimates might be done even before coming into the team, but the actual work, who is doing the delivery, they are doing the estimates. That is what, like one way we are letting the team take the decisions, decentralizing the decision making. And again, the previous principle number 8, like letting the team take the ownership or accountability of the work they are doing it, rather than passing on that, yes, your manager asked you to do it, go ahead and do it. Right? Yes.
Right.
So, yes.
But
So
Satish,
individuals and team closest to the problem. Yes, Anil.
I mean, like anyway, the milestones are decided by the management team, right?
Yes.
But like,
Milestones will be decided by them. But yes, the that's what I'm trying to say. No, individuals and team closest to the problem helps to insights across the work and offers the best ability to decision and act decisively, right? So what does this mean? They might be taking the decision or the about the milestone, but if in case we observe there is a risk or there is a challenge or we won't be able to meet the deadline or the timeline, we have to pass on that information to the leadership team and get it addressed. Just because we announce the release date, we can't go ahead and do it, right? If in case, because they might be with some expectation, the leadership team might be with some expectation, like by if we announce it by during Dasara time or the Diwali time, we will get more customers. But what if there's actual technical issues which is not in our control, right? We need to go on and pass on that information, right? You're good.
Good.
Yes. So what is this decision making? Yes, they have given different perspectives or different examples and different things as such. And by taking the anatomy of a decision, everything, they just given different examples. Is go through this, you can go ahead. And what is this they're talking about is like, whenever we are taking the decision maker must consider these 5 factors, which will assist them in the appropriate action. Information. Do you have sufficient information on which can I take the decision? Or do you have the right stakeholders to inform this decision? Or authority. Do I have or can I get the authority to make the decision? Competence. Do I have or can I access the technical competence needed for the decision? Or clarity. Do I have sufficient clarity of the purpose for this decision? Or impact. What will be the impact of this decision? Am I prepared to address the concerns of those who may disagree with the decision? And do you understand the economic framework that's relevant to this decision? Right. So they're trying to bring in all these possible aspects to help whether the decision should be centralized with the leadership team or should be decentralized and let the knowledge workers or the team members take a decision. Right. And then the take or delegate, whether they want to take the decision on their own or delegate it to the team. The infrequent decision, some decisions are extremely important, but they are not frequent. So then take the decision. Long lasting, like once a decision is made, we won't change it so quick, so easy. Or provide significant economies of scale, like the budget approvals, the hikes, bonus, appraisals, or visas, promotions, everything, right? So all these type of decisions should be taken by the leadership team, whereas the delegate, the frequent decisions, they're recurrent and frequent and continuous time critical decisions, the required local knowledge, the implementation aspects. These type of decisions should be delegated to the team. Right? And they gave a small example in the table for the frequent, time critical versus economies of scale. Right? For it, like, select a cloud platform provider. Is it a frequent decision? No. No means 0. Is it a time critical? Yeah, could be. So it is like 1. Does it have significant economies of scale? Because once we finalize a cloud provider, we won't be changing. Right? So the total is coming as 1. What does it mean? If the total is between 0 to 3, centralize the decision with the leadership team. If the score is between 4 to 6, decentralize, let the team members take the decision. Right? Then the second decision, decide the test approach for a feature. Is it frequent? Yes. Is it time critical? Yes. Does it have any economies of scale? Yes. It could be. That's the reason it is 0. So the total is 4. So let the team or let that release try and take the approach on how they want to test that feature. Right? So like this, if we start listing down the decisions, the frequency, time critical, and economies of scale, that can help us take a discussion with the leadership team. Yes, because it is a critical decision, you can go ahead and take it. If it is a regular decision, let the team members go ahead and take it up. So we can use this simple framework to bring up this discussion with your leadership team also. Okay. Good.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yes. And more important thing is providing the psychological safety. Just because we are asking them to take the decision, it is not like making them the scapegoats if something goes wrong, and making them take the blame. Hey, you took the decision, so you should take the ownership. No, might not be. Right. So there is what we need to provide the psychological safety also. Only then the individuals or the team members will be ready to take the decisions on their own. Good.
Good.
Okay, the principle number 10, and then we'll go back to principle number 6. So, organize around value. We discussed it, we touched base a little bit about when we discuss about the value stream. So, what is this organize around value? Scale Agile is talking about is the business agility. So, when you say the business agility, what happens is we get stuck in the hierarchy. The hierarchy is required, the reporting structure and everything will be required, but let it be in the back end. The front end should be the network. What the focus should be on the product research, development, delivery, and maintenance. So identify who are the folks who need to come together, work together on that agile release train or on that solution. Make them be part of that network. Let them go ahead and get the implementation done. Keep the hierarchies aside. Keep the hierarchies behind. The hierarchy is not the importance or not the relevance any point of time to be successful in the implementation. And if you observe, there's a reason many organizations are now going through the flat organizations, removing the number of layers or removing the number of structures in the middle. Right? Then what is it the safe organizing, how the safe is organizing around value is around the value stream. What is a value stream? From the time we receive a request till the time we deliver and the customer or we as an organization generate value out of it, the value or the outcome of it. So that is what the value stream is, on all the steps and identify how we can align our teams or our stakeholders into this value stream. And when we say the portfolio, there will be multiple value streams, multiple solutions, like organization like Google, Microsoft, or Amazon, any company, like even ICICI Bank, for example, right? They have multiple products, multiple solutions. So then, if in case they are following it, they might be having multiple portfolios or multiple solutions within their organization. Yes, so that is what the portfolio is talking about. And realize value streams with product focused agile release trains. So along with the teams might be already there. So bring up the other stakeholders required for the implementation. Who are the stakeholders? The teams are already there. So now the product management, system architect, RTE, business owners, and the system team, the shared services teams, and everyone else who is required to get that implementation done. Bring them, onboard them, and make them, tag them as an agile release train and get that implementation done. Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Then let's come back to the principle number 6. So earlier it used to be a different principle. Now recently they changed it, they revised it, and they call it as make value flow without interruptions. So working software, valuable increment, fast decision making, continuous integrations, everything comes under this delivering value. And we need to deliver value in a flow. What is it? The flow is from the time, where is it? One, define working process, then identify the bottlenecks, try to minimize or remove the handoffs, then focus on the fast, quick feedback, simplify or improvise the batch processing, and then reduce the queue, focus on improvising the knowledge of the skill set of the workers or the individuals, try to revise or revamp the policies. So these are all the 8 principles which they're talking about as part of this make the value flow without interruptions, right? So work in process, there is always some or other work in process in the system. So how we can minimize the work in process? Why minimize? If we start working on multiple features or multiple user stories or multiple initiatives at a time, we won't be able to generate value. So instead, focus on picking up a couple of them, target to complete, get it done, and then move ahead. Right? Then the bottlenecks, as we discussed, like using the lead time, the control charts, we should be able to identify bottlenecks and we should improve effectively, which can help to improve the flow throughout the system. In our case, the architects, by discussing and resolving the architect delays, we are able to improvise the flow. In one of the previous example or previous engagement, the reviews used to take a lot of time. The coding and testing used to get it done in 3-4 days. The reviews used to take another 3 days. So which is impacting the cycle time to get it improved to 7 days. Instead, we improvised that review process. We got it done within 1 or 2 days. So there could be various reasons why the bottleneck is happening. So in Vasu's case, he's mentioning that the team is not ready to make use of the automation tool. So there is a bottleneck. So how we can identify and address it? We identify now how we address it. What's the actual root cause? How we can address it? Then it can help improve the flow. Right? Then handoffs. Handoffs, if you observe, many organizations knowingly unknowingly already started improvising these handoffs. How? The SDETs or the full stack developers. That is one way how the organizations are trying to improve the work, they reduce the bottlenecks and improve the handoffs also. Earlier, we used to have front-end developer, back-end developer, DB developer, UX developer, different folks and tester, all these things. But now the full stack developer, he himself is doing everything. Instead of handing over, like, I'm done with this UI, you go and do the backend, you go and do the database, you go and do the integrate. Now the one single individual is doing everything. Right? So that is how the organizations are already bringing up the same with the testing also, like estate. They started bringing software development engineering test, which means the tester should be able to do the automation, should be able to do code reviews, and should be able to give the feedback even before the code got checked in to the code base. Earlier is the case where the tester used to do the validation once the code is deployed. Now, the expectation of the estate is like they should be able to do the review of the code even before the code gets merged. That's the reason. And along with that, the automation of the code, the test cases and execution. Yes, a lot of other things which is coming into that handoffs also. And as if in case we're talking about a team, there will be like multiple teams working on one single feature. So how we can improvise the flow, how we can reduce the bottleneck of the dependencies, how we can improvise the handoff. Handoff might not be eliminated in case of teams from the feature perspective, but how we can simplify the handoff, working with the other teams, right? That could be our role as a scrum master, as a coach, right? Then comes the feedback. How quickly, how effectively the customer feedback is coming into context. Every sprint we are doing a demo. Are we doing the demo to the actual end users, customers? Or are we getting the actual feedback from them? Or if not, when are we getting the actual feedback, and how are we taking that into the improvisation? If not, yes, if the feedback is coming only after the release is done and the customer started making use of it, then we might be getting only the internal feedback, but not the actual stakeholder feedback. So if not from the actual customers, is it possible to get the feedback from our stakeholders or the business owners, who could be the representative of the customers? Or sometimes we might even see like some samples or some prototypes which was where the actual customers are invited or involved and say that, hey, this is what we are trying to do as a new feature, new implementation. How do you like it? Or what's your perspectives? What's your opinion or views? So try to see how we can get the feedback continuously and how we can improvise by taking the feedback.
Satish, one question here.
Yes, Hari.
Usually we get feedback from our PO. So
Mhm.
it is also good to expect the feedback from the actual customer, or it is enough to have a feedback from the product PO.
Feedback from the PO will be one of the aspect, Hari.
Mhm.
That alone might not be sufficient,
Okay.
right? So because is your PO the actual end user?
No.
Your PO understood your customer context, but is your PO going to make use of the thing once it is released? Might not be, right? So then the customer might be expecting something else. So if possible, if not every sprint, at least once in a while, we should be able to get the real-time feedback from the actual customers. Okay.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that might not be done at the story level or a sprint level, but maybe at an integrated code level, we should be able to see. We can't go and ask our customers, actual end users, say, I changed this UI look and feel. I added this button. How do you feel? No, we can't go and do for each and every story, but at least that consolidated feedback, we should be able to get it. Right? Good. Then the batch and queue. Yes. As the batch happens, the queue gets formed. So both go hand in hand, right? So because we can't do everything at a time, we will try to do a batch processing, like taking 2-3 features or maybe 10 features at a PA level or couple of stories at a sprint level and do that. Because of that, the queue gets formed in the form of backlog, right? So how effectively we maintain and balance the batch and the queue and how we go ahead is important again. Then the worker, we already talked about the intrinsic motivation. So there is what indirectly it is again talking about the policies. We might have done everything, but what our regulators are not ready to let the product be released to the market. Yes, there could be some local policies within the teams, or there could be global policies.
Complaints.
Right? We need to understand that and we need to go ahead and do it. Just because we are done, we can't go ahead and release some code base to the customers or end users, especially the banking and insurance or every sector to that matter, right? So we need to understand that, and accordingly we need to prioritize our deliverables and we need to plan our milestones or releases and everything as such, right? So all these 8 accelerators, they explained with the examples how we can do that. Take a look at it, and if required, we can discuss again on this point. Okay, you're good.
Yeah, sure, Satish.
Sure, Satish.
Yeah, Satish.
That's about the principles, the 10 principles. Any questions, any doubts, anything you want to discuss or you want to add?
Let us go through this, and if there is any doubt, you put it in the.
Definitely, definitely. See, I'm not expecting each of you to understand just because every time we go through the content, we will get some more new pointers.
Hmm.
So Satish,
So
just
this
a
is
small
starting. Yes, yes, Anil.
Yeah, Satish, like in the first principle economic view. So
Mhm.
like what happens if the scope change is happening? Like what example can we give? Like by giving that example, right? You have around four rounds.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Let's say if the
The
scope
scope
change
change.
is happening here, like
Mhm.
to what extent it will impact the like, but like I mean, like everything is recorded here, but again, the psychological safety of a developer is not recorded. Like how to handle the situation.
Exactly. The psychological safety is not recorded here, but yes, directly or indirectly, it is impacting bringing the risk.
Mm.
Right. So if the developer is not confident or not comfortable, obviously it will reflect in the work and which will be impacting the risk.
Because like one of my product owner is sending an email to like individual developer, give
Hmm.
confirmation.
Hmm.
I mean, like
Yes.
they're little bit hesitant to give confirmation. Like how can
Yes.
I can only give this confirmation because they're recording this email. That's the reason. Like
I know. So that is where, like, you as a Scrum Master or coach, you need to take that step and you need to start having a conversation with the product owner and make them understand what's the impact, what's the implications of it, and how, and you can even define your team level ways of working, team agreements, what to be done in case of any scope changes, or how the product owner should approach the team, or how the team handle the scope changes which are brought to by the product owner. You can have an open conversation with the entire team, including product owner involved.
okay.
Right. So that way, next time they will get a clarity that whenever they receive an email directly from product owner, they'll know, okay, yes, this is already discussed and agreed. Okay, yes, let me go ahead with that decision.
Yeah, yes,
Okay, you're good?
yeah.
Very good.
Yes. Yes, that's about the principles. Hope the discussion was helpful.
Yeah, yes, Satish, it's helpful.
Yeah, Satish. Thank you so much for your time, Satish.
Definitely, definitely. And
Thanks.
the next couple of weeks, I might not be available because of other schedules. But yes, again, we will discuss and we will see the next. You also let me know in the group, like what topics you want to discuss and how we want to take it further. Right.
Sure.
And our plan is like to go through that the end-to-end simulation sort of thing from the safe implementation perspective. We did one PI planning simulation recently in the month of August and September. We can do one more simulation, and along with that, if any additional aspects is required, we want to discuss. We can schedule some time like this, and we can discuss.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay then. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you. Yeah, thanks.
Really
Thank you,
nice.
Satish.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Vasu sir, for inputs. Thank you, Satish, for
Definitely.
having
Thanks,
this.
Vasu.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Satish sir, can you stay for a minute?
Just a minute. Let me stop the recording.
Okay.